welcome to the May 3rd, 2021 City Council meeting of the City of Cartersville. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilman David Nutty.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Eric?
Welcome. Please join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, I acknowledge your presence this evening as I lift up our mayor and city council members as they take on the task of the issues at hand. May each one feel the value that they add to our community with their skill and their knowledge. May we all know that nothing's too hard when we include you in the equation. We just thank you for blessing our time together in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to the meeting. If you would, make sure your cell phone ringers are off, and we will begin with roll call.
Councilwoman Phillips. Present. Councilman Robb.
Here.
Councilman Gray. Councilman Nutty.
Present.
Councilman Warner.
Here.
Councilwoman Barrett.
Present.
And Councilman Williams Jr.
Present.
Okay, everybody has the minutes, the April 19th, 2021 regular meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to that? If not, entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay, move on down to new business. We can take some of these together if you want, or it's your pleasure.
A through H, please.
Resolution 2021-34 is a resolution to transfer 36 cents from general to 229 Justice Assistance Grant Fund. Resolution 2021-35 is a resolution to transfer 25 cents from general to 525 Fire Watch non-reverting. Resolution 2021-36 is a resolution to transfer 44 cents from 164 COVID CES Grant Fund to 101 General.
This is $44.
It is 44 cents.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay, we have a motion to approve.
Oh, wait, I haven't read
We're
one.
not finished
I'm
yet.
sorry.
We just questioned, that's all.
Yeah.
Resolution 2021-35 is a resolution to reimburse $2,428.58 into Riverboat Sidewalk. Resolution 2021-38 is a resolution to transfer $41,063.83 from general to first aid non-reverting. Resolution 2021-39 is a resolution to reimburse $1,055 into police telephone. Resolution 2021-40 is a resolution to reimburse $15 into cable telephone. And Resolution 2021-41 is a resolution to transfer $140.71 from PERF into general.
This one, I think you said 35, 21-35, I think it was 37, but what did you have on number 38 for the D5? Okay, thanks.
Okay, any other questions? If not, we'll entertain a motion to approve items A
Make
through
a
H.
motion.
Second.
We have a motion second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Move on to item I, approval petition annexation of North American Development. Hey, I did want to correct one thing. I just now thought this, Dave brought to attention that the acreage was wrong on the information you got. I did just remember though, they just did a survey last week, so that's probably where the acreage came in, because the numbers we had before have been changed when we sent this out versus the survey that got done last week. So that would make sense. The new update, I just checked GIS, and it is the number you said, was it
16.147.
16, but that has just literally changed from last week, because they just did the survey, so there is where the difference is. 'Cause I knew we looked at it, I was like, no, I know it was 17.0, but it
It's
didn't change.
16.147.
Yes. So what this is just he's asked for petition to annex that area. Everything else around that ground is annexed, he owns it anyway. But he wants to annex that section area right next to the Walmart parking
Which
lot.
should have been earlier, right?
I was under the assumption that it was, until we started researching it, that it's not. And the intent was to annex it in the future, but it was not annexed at the time. I don't know why. None of us were here when they did that. So unless you know anything about it, there you go.
I can answer that because they're voluntary annexations at that time and had the ownership at the time those are made. So it has nothing with, the annexation and the rezoning at the same time. Those were voluntary actions.
Okay. So he is petitioning to get that annexed as well, so we just have to start the process with the petition. We have to approve the petition through city council, then we will do the fiscal plan and have a public hearing and all kinds of stuff.
Would that be for tax purposes, Bill? Is there a different on that acreage, unimproved land, city versus
Well, I think one of the ones we had to do with, that's what they needed the services at the time. That's probably did fall into play was if you don't need the services, why pay the city taxes?
Makes sense.
Do what?
Makes sense.
It does. So now they want the services and they want the annexation, so.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second to approve the,
Annexation.
I'm sorry, to approve the petition for annexation. Shoot, I was getting ready to say public hearing, that's not what I'm trying to do. So we have, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carried. Okay, item J. Approval of pending orders 3649, amending the salary orders for utilities. Brad?
There are a couple of new faces you're not used to seeing a lot with me tonight. These are the two people that would be proposed increases in the salary ordinance. I wanted to tell you a little bit about our management approach at the utilities and might make a little sense of what we're doing with the salaries. So we kind of have a multi-branched approach. My job is to oversee the overall direction of the utilities, the streets, and sanitation now. I support the mayor on redevelopment, I coordinate ADA, I support city projects, and I also help Aaron and Cindy and Mike. So Mike's main focus is on running the water department and service departments. He handles a lot of our GIS stuff and MS4 program, and he supports Aaron, Cindy, and I. Erin's job, she's our new wastewater treatment plant superintendent as of about 7 hours ago.
Congratulations.
So her main focus is all of our IDEM reporting. She does a lot of our IDEM reporting and EPA stuff. She also runs a pretreatment program and a million other things. But a lot of it is focused on keeping us out of trouble with IDEM. And then she supports Mike on MS4 wellhead protection. She runs the lab, and she supports me and Cindy also. So that's Erin. And then we have Cindy Lunsford. She's our office manager, and she is a true manager. She probably manages more than any of us. She runs the office, coordinates billing and bookkeeping. She's our liaison to the clerk's office, works with Rosemary a lot. She coordinates things with the State Board of Accounts and compliance, and she supports Mike and Aaron, and she supports me sort of as an executive secretary, writing letters for me so they don't look silly. So
That's why your letters are so well written.
Yeah, sure.
Here, I thought you did this the whole time.
yeah. So I just wanted you to meet those two so maybe you can understand what we're trying to do with the salaries. Erin's salary is coming up to get her to about the level, a little lower than the level of what the guy that she's taking his place. Plus she's doing his job plus a lot of other stuff that she already did. And combining those and becoming more efficient. Some of the things that she was doing before will move around to other people. And then Cindy has to work a lot of overtime in her job, but she's a manager, so we wanted her to become salary. So some of the increase in her salary is to make up for what she was making in overtime before. Now she'll just be straight salary, so. Anybody have any questions about it?
The salary on this front page, is that the only thing changed? There's nothing, no other benefits or just
That's
salary
correct.
changes?
That's correct.
Thank you.
We had a meeting with Brad and Brian, Dave and I, last Tuesday and discussed all this and clarified things, and we decided not to make any changes to the salary ordinance as it was at the last meeting, but it was more for clarification and
There was
due diligence.
there was an error on Aaron's salary, and I had fixed that. So there was an error, and it hadn't been fixed.
Okay. Any questions? No? Entertain a motion to approve,
Motion.
pending orders 3650.
Second?
I have a motion, a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. That's a motion, that was first reading, so we have to do a second and third. So we have a motion to suspend the rules.
So moved.
We have a motion, a second. All in favor of suspending the rules, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. And a motion for a third and final.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you very much. Okay. Now, approval of pending ordinance 3651, addition of handicap sign, 1925 Vermont. McCray, are you out there, or?
You're missing
K,
one.
you missed K.
Missed 6710, the
Oh, I checked the wrong one. My bad. Hold on, McCray. Let me follow my order.
No problem.
I skipped a letter.
yeah.
And Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
if you would, look at K and M, possibly take those together.
Okay, K and M together. K is pending ordinance 3650. It's established of an ARP coronavirus local fiscal recovery fund. Rosemary can explain this as well. I'll just let you go ahead.
Pending ordinance 3650 is creating a fund for the ARP Coronas Local Physical Recovery Fund.
Hard to say, isn't it?
I will not say that again. And pending ordinance 3652 is ordinance to create another fund for a COVID-19 Phase 3 fund to manage those monies. Every time we get any kind of grants, we need to create new funds to be able to manage those funds, monies within the fund. It's easier to keep track of it that way. So that's why we have two.
And at what point do you dissolve that fund? When money runs out or no longer?
Well, usually they're dormant for, 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
There are some deadlines or requirements to, we can hold the money for so long. The first one is the federal money. It has, 2024, I think it's the deadline.
2024.
On that.
We will not get all of that money this year.
It's not gonna come in one yet.
We'll only get half of it and then the other half next year.
There's a lot of, we don't know what we can use that money for, period. We don't have a clue. So it's just gonna be sitting there.
Phase 3 then is the state.
The Phase 3 is the Ochre Fund we applied for our local businesses. That provides our internet for the park and the courthouse, the city parking lot, and for our businesses. But that has to be in a separate fund. You can't put the two together, so.
I'd make a motion to give clerk treasurer permission to make those new funds, create the funds.
We have a motion?
Second.
And a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. And we have a motion to suspend the rules.
So moved.
Motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. And we have a motion for third and final.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for third and final. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you very much. Now on to L. There you go, sir. Now it's your turn.
Good
Sorry.
evening, council.
I might.
I'm coming tonight to request a disabled parking for a gentleman that lives in the city. We've received a letter from his doctor requesting us in front of his residence. Any questions on that?
This was a 1925 for birth,
That's correct, sir.
clarifying.
I move we pass pending ordinance 6711 on first reading.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. We have a motion to suspend the rules.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. And we have a motion for third and final reading.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion second for third and final. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pat.
Thanks, Lon.
Thank you.
Okay, item N. We'll talk, Bill McDaniels will talk about the proposed zoning code changes.
Okay, now specifically asked to just not have it up for the ordinance this evening, so we discuss, have any questions that you have. Since it's also city and county, I think it's primarily going to affect the county. I think it's wise to see what the county commissioners may intend to do. I don't know if they intend to act tomorrow on it or not. So we'll probably have an idea for the next meeting for both the commissioners and the council next month. And I take it everybody's had a chance to read the text on the actual ordinance and what was, what received a favorable recommendation. Okay. And I know Brian, of course, being involved with it. And I think that we did have a pretty good conversation on the part of the planning commission, which is made me happy.
Good.
So if there's any questions about anything in the package, now there's a lot of information I handed you because that's required. The record that I have is supposed to be forwarded also to the legislative bodies. That's why you have so much stuff.
Bill, you might explain, because it's confusing, everybody's looked at that map.
Okay, all right. Now the map, okay, I did not have an opportunity to, I hope to have the time to create a new one with the current county GIS. This one was created before we had the county GIS, and we used a arc mapping for this. All those little yellow dots, those are hand plotted, and those are all rural residences. Now, when you see the small circles and then you see the black line around it, it was originally proposed at a quarter-mile separation distance around residences. The black line that you see, that's another 300 feet, and that's what was amended by the county commissioners in 2011. Now, so what you have right there, so all those are quarter miles. Basically, that is what the distance that was in the amendment that's forwarded to you of what everything that's in there is going to be a quarter mile, whether it's from any subdivisions, any churches, any schools, any parks, city, all of those things. But if you also look at when it comes to the city of Connersville, you see how dense, even outside of the city of Connersville, the residential development happens to be. And you see the same thing down in the south part of the county. And going way back, and since then there's been more rural dwellings. But what I was particularly struck, and I know others were, is just how much rural residential development, how much rural sprawl we actually have in Fayette County. It's almost impossible to find any place, especially south part of the county, it's more than a quarter mile from somebody else. You want to build a house. So, a personal opinion is that I think that any fears people have of a confined feeding operation, an explosion of them in Fayette County and going on all over Fayette County, it goes beyond. I mean, I don't think it's not a legitimate fear. I do not believe. Then especially in the south part of the county, because I think everybody's aware of, how much of the county in the upland areas of particularly the south part of the county are dry. Seasonally dry wells. Just take a drive and you see everybody that's going around and then their driveways with the water containers in the back of the pickup trucks. So there's a lot of properties with that. And there's a lot of investment that goes into a confined feeding operation, including the company that will contracting out the animals they raise. So that's a big investment, and that may very work against somebody wanting to put one in down there when a company's going to say, you don't have the water. So it's just as with 2011, there's very limited areas where it can actually go. This will increase the potential land areas, increase a few more areas. But like I said, I really don't think there isn't going to be a gold rush for it. I really doubt that there will be a gold rush of confined feeding operations out in Fayette County. So now the rules themselves, one of the main drives on the rules, is that we found out the hard way. It was, 2011 is intended to make it difficult, but in order to find a really good location, a very good location, almost an ideal location for confined feeding operation. Now, what we found out is that it's pretty much, there's a standard that was adopted, it cannot be met. An ordinance was adopted that you cannot meet a standard. I, as a planner, and also I, as a citizen, I have a problem with that. And so you're gonna write something where, you know, it acts as a prohibition, you need to just have as a prohibition say, no, none of this. And so that's to clear that up, and then the point system's gone. And, because that was one of the big problems with the point system. But even without that point system, it's still more restrictive, and there's still a lot more that's required than it was prior to the 2011 ordinance.
For clarity's sake, just so people understand, I think we've read it all, but what is the point that the ordinance that cannot be met?
Okay, it's the thing that cannot be, okay, it's the water study. Has to be signed off and basically guaranteed by a hydrogeologist, a hydrological engineer, somebody whose specialty is groundwater, and basically guarantee that this isn't going to affect groundwater. You can't find anybody who's going to do it, and there's no way that can be met. So in that in its own, it just,
Correct.
yeah. So that was the big problem with it. And like I said, we really didn't find out just how big of a problem it was until beginning 2 years ago.
So people who have concerns with water quality, what's the answer to that?
It's, the actual water quantity is there is, and I don't think it's something that we can actually regulate on the quantity, but, Terry has a lot more information on what's being done as far as how things work at the state level.
So a lot of that's handled through the state level, isn't it, through IDEM?
Exactly, a lot because there's a lot of things you cannot regulate locally.
Right.
A lot of things where the state of Indiana regulates it, you're preempted. The federal government regulates certain things, you're preempted. Then some are directly preempted, and then there are other things which is implied preemption, and that's where a lot of those are.
So they're under heavy regulation before they ever get here.
Yeah, they really are.
So the item that you believe can't be met, that was in a previous ordinance?
That was in the one from 2011.
That's not in the one here.
No, that is not in the one right here. Yeah.
Looking at the map, and I know this is an older map,
Yeah.
so the newer ones will be more restrictive. It appears that you're pretty much not going to be able to have a confined food operation, a feeding operation anywhere in our county. Was there any agricultural, were there any farmers or agricultural organizations opposing this or come forward, or did you have any representation on your area planning board?
Okay,
You're talking about the hearing.
Yes.
okay,
Yeah.
now the hearing is, there's two people that came forward that supported it, had an agricultural background. They were not against the regulating or changing things to setbacks, the big problem that these people had. It seemed to be that still supported the animal agriculture. It was the fact that it was written to be a permitted use by right, rather than as a special exception. So that was the change between this made by the Area Plan Commission and was forwarded to both yourselves and then also the county commissioners.
I just want to know, just make sure that that's not, and I don't know who all is on APC, but make sure it's not a bunch of city folks telling the farmers what they can and can't do.
Well, no, we have a representation.
Yeah.
of both.
It's a mix. We have a
The
city
plan
representation on that.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why it's set up as it is. Because the ones appointed by the The members, citizen members appointed by the county on the plan commission, they are all required to be county residents, not live in the city. Those that the city appoints, citizens appoints, those people are required to live within the city limits. And the idea is to give a voice to the residents who live in both, which is also the importance where Brian's job, the Dale Munson, and then also Bob Stewart, is because they're also the essentially the liaisons between the legislative and the executive bodies and the city and the county government. Which is why it's so important that they're on there. So,
Darren Price is the city as well.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions, comments, concerns? So we're not gonna do anything on this, we're gonna let the commissioners decide, then we'll follow up with ours.
now, if any city council members or anybody wishes to sit down and talk with me, and I'm more than happy to do that. Because I know there's a lot more things in here than we could possibly go over this evening. If you have a lot of questions.
Thank you, sir, appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay, move on to old business, anyone have any old business? How about miscellaneous business, we got Clarence up.
I have several ordinances that I'd like to eliminate from our computer system, or ordinance book, however you want to call it. As you look in the papers that I had copied and sent to you, 633 Central Avenue is no longer in use, it's an empty building.
What was there?
That was a jewelry store.
It's now, what was the group that came in here, wanted to clean up Connersville?
Yeah, it's Sherman's place.
Yeah, what is it called?
Connection Cafe.
Yeah, that's what's in there now.
633, I believe, is empty. It's owned by Wells.
Oh, yeah. I think that's the one that the company has come in.
The 633.
Yeah, they're renting that.
No,
Not the corner.
it's right there by Baker's old place.
So 635 is what used to be Rogers Jewelry. And then the next half of that building is the one that's being rented.
But the one just north of Baker's building, it's the one that's 633. There used to be a jewelry store right there
Underwoods?
No, Underwoods is still there.
years ago. I think Dave Baker owned it at one time, I'm not sure.
But nobody's using it right now, right?
Right, it's
And
empty.
And I really should have muddied the waters, because whatever that address is for any of those buildings, I would agree that the loading zone sign needs to be removed.
Yeah, right, plus we need, I don't know that there's even a sign there now, I haven't checked that, but the ordinance needs to be removed. Second page is a loading zone west side of Central Avenue, which is same side, between 6th and 7th Street. Now, there was concern about Connect's loading there, but they load off of 6th Street, and they also load that other building. I can't remember what that used to be.
Valves.
Valves.
I'll have to check on that, but I have, I think we might have done an ordinance where that's already been deleted. But I need to check, I have already deleted written on mine,
Well, there's some of them, it says deleted,
right?
but it's still in there.
The sign is, or it's still in the book?
It's still in the book.
Well, it will stay in the book, it doesn't go away.
Well,
That book, once an ordinance is put in, it stays, but then there will be another ordinance offsetting and deleting that.
They can remove them for the computer, because if they go to American legal system like we use, that's who still carries it.
Okay, I know the book we have has literally every ordinance ever written in it, and if it's been changed, modified, deleted, there's a secondary ordinance doing that, but the old one stays in place. So I don't know how the computer is, I don't use that one, but let me double check on that one, because I have already deleted, I did this, when did you bring this to us? Last week?
Yeah.
I did it the day you brought it to us. I have already deleted and I don't remember why I wrote it.
If it
Wait,
says,
look.
it says delete one,
Right, so
so, but it's still in the system. That's where I get my stuff.
I'll have to check the book on that and make sure.
One space in front of 211 East 4th Street. That's a church that's been demolished. It's no longer there anymore. It's a loading zone also. That needs to be removed also. And then on the next page, there is, this is a park loading zone out here on 5th Street. It used to be for the big G building. We need to open that up for parking. And then, of course, taxi and bus zone is in front of Times Theater, which we know is a candy store. And the senior center bus, they're both not on Central Avenue anymore. I'm trying to clean this up for,
So on that one, B you want to remove, but A you want to keep.
I'm on page 2894. Did I miss something for you?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm on the next one already.
Oh.
I'm still doing the theater and
Bus and taxes.
the bus and senior center.
Yeah.
So those need to be removed. And then the other one, like you said, the only one I want to remove is B. Because that still goes back to Central Avenue Senior Citizen Center. So they've stuck this in another ordinance. And it confuses everybody because we got an ordinance on the other page that covers this, and then we have the second ordinance. So it's just kind of muddy water if you want to look at it that way. And then the parking meter is still in there. And we haven't had parking meters for, I don't know how many years that's been.
That one too, I want to research because we try to go through our ordinance, I call it the Bible. It's an ordinance Bible book. I mean, and I didn't see this in there. It doesn't mean it's not, but it could be stuck somewhere I didn't.
Everybody should have a
Nothing's
copy.
in chronological order.
I don't believe this is in the book, because I pulled the numbers out off the computer.
Yeah, so we have to figure out why there's discrepancy, but the way to handle these is if you're in favor of deleting these, then we have to just create an ordinance referencing these and we'll get that all put in there, but it has to be in an ordinance form. So we want to bring it up for point of discussion, see if anyone had any comments or would do anything.
See, the whole section all the way down to
Right,
chapter 11,
yeah.
needs to be removed because I don't see that useful. There's other sections that covers some of this stuff.
Well, it used to be a nickel, so how long ago was that when you could park for a nickel? 10 cents, a nickel, and a penny on there, so.
And then if you go back to scheduling, which is a loading zone,
Yes, it was.
I think this first section's okay. I'm thinking, well, probably not because they're on 6th Street.
Three of,
That liquor store is gone.
yeah, at least two of those is right next to the fire station, so they don't need a loading zone there.
Right. That's the section where we're talking about probably, I don't even know if mid-block of
6 and 7.
Washington Street there, but 6th and 7th is,
There's no business there. It's all part of Goff's auto service now.
right. And the one space 100 feet south of 9th Street on Fayette Street.
That was in front of the water treatment plant over at 9th Street. We don't need that.
Right. So those sections there, I'd like to see that removed also. And we talked about, Dave and I talked about the 9th Street in front of the St. Gabriel School. They no longer utilize that for bus parking. However, they would like one space on Grand Avenue, 93 feet north of the intersection, which would put that bus stopping at the sidewalk on Grand Avenue on the west side of Grand.
So they should just get with Mike or Randy, police department.
Yeah.
Won't we need an ordinance on that
We'll have to write an ordinance, we need to get with them, with the approval from the
You
police
get with them
first.
for,
We can create an ordinance to delete all these if everyone's good with that.
Well, with exception of the 34,
The A, yeah.
yes.
We'll have to create an ordinance for that. I didn't want to do that until you guys have vetted it, went through it all.
well, the one on Eastern Avenue too there, Fairmont, they do not use that bus parking at all on Eastern Avenue. They're for that little preschool,
It used to be Maplewood School.
it's preschool now or something.
They don't use it at all?
No, not on Eastern Avenue.
They go behind the school, I believe.
What they do is use the alley south of the school.
Okay.
There's another problem there on Eastern Avenue that they've asked me to ask the council about. And that's a one-way street from 18th Street to Fairmont. They'd like to turn that into a two-way street on Eastern, because the parents come out of the north side of the parking lot in the back and they go south anyway. They don't go out Fairmont.
Originally, it was done because the buses used to be out front. And it
Absolutely.
was a safety thing, so
Yeah.
I would agree.
And that whole section along there is painted yellow and it's got bus signs and all that, so I don't know if we remove the paint or what we do on that, but that should be left to parking.
Again, they go through the police department, right?
Yeah, the police department doing with that. Okay.
But they go to head, the city has put up, I'm assuming, handicap parking out in front of the school, and that meets the codes, and I don't have any problem with that. Iowa, 2 spaces approximately 600 north of 24th Street. That puts us right at Cherry Hill Plaza.
I think that's when the Napa auto parts store was there on that.
That's right,
Yeah.
right across from Napa. There's no sign there, but there's still an ordinance. I just measured it off tonight, so.
That's a loading zone?
Yeah, bus and taxi zone is what it says.
Yeah, I was looking through the wrong page, sorry.
He's writing.
I was taking notes. And
That's
that's
right.
I
right.
was just showing you where I was. Okay, I know where you were.
That's before my
Kids.
time too.
But it's non-existent anymore is what I'm saying, so.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to lighten the load in the book.
Understand. If anyone doesn't, we'll look at I'll get the police on these two here, and then we can write an ordinance deleting all these other ordinances, and then we'll present everyone,
With the exception of that one.
with the exception of the one, correct?
The four-way stop,
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
because it's still there, so
Right.
But I don't know why they mixed that up with a four-way stop.
you never know.
We will never
You have to read page by page to figure that book
I've
out.
sat, well, you don't figure it out, because I've sat and looked at that thing until my eyes bleed.
Appreciate your work, Claire.
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
You're welcome.
Okay, well, we will get that done try to get that for the next meeting. I'll get with Clary and Bolos, and we'll work on the other two.
Okay.
Okay, is there any other miscellaneous business? Brad?
Just going to remind you that we have a public hearing at the Roberts Building on Thursday, May the 6th, about the water main projects. That'll be at 6 p.m. Also, shred day has been changed to May 15th from May 8th because the equipment that we used to shred with was booked, already overbooked.
By the way, thanks for the 21st Street removal,
We're-
partial removal.
We got into a really hard part and we got to use the Bobcat to jackhammer that last portion out, but we got
I thought you had to use something else.
plus we got to cut the pipes out of it that held the conduit, so we'll get it out of there maybe sometime next week or so.
I have one other thing that I meant to mention, miscellaneous. What are we gonna do with the trees up and down on Western Avenue and the power lines?
Boy, that's a good debate.
I know some of
That's
it's
Duke's
cut.
responsibility. We can't touch those because you have to be power line certified. The other issue is those are invasive species. They're not supposed to be here. So the issue is when Duke comes at us, which they will come at us, they're going to be gone. But those trees were raised. Brad, you got to help me out. Do you remember the group?
The Lions Club was who Paul Routes and
So-
most of those
Yeah,
fellas.
something like that.
I need to go talk to the Lions Club to see, because I don't just want to make people mad. But those trees are not supposed to be in Indiana, period.
Well, I understand that, but my concern is these guys are gonna get called out in the middle of the night when the storm comes and tears down power lines and puts a tree in the
Yeah.
street.
And they are soft wood, they'll split easy.
With trees and power lines, we can't touch them. I can't even go in there and cut that tree down.
I get that.
So
I
that's
mean, we
Duke.
need to, we
Let's
need
deal
to
with
address
Duke.
the issue.
Yeah, that's really Duke has to do that. Duke had come down and did some other work, and so I'm assuming they're gonna head that way, but they never did say, so.
Well, the last time I talked to them, they said they looked at them and they said they weren't in the power lines.
Well, they're in the power lines.
They are now.
Some of those lines are also coded lines, so they're protected. None of those are primaries. Those are all feeding lights, and those lines are coded. So you do have a layer of protection there, where if it's a primary line, it's just a bare line, that tree touches it, it becomes conductive.
And they've taken care of that part of it, but some of them I see is the lines going right through the tree and they supply the lights. And I don't want to see a problem in the middle of the night with a tree taking down power lines do the lights and create a problem electronically and/or for the street department to come out in the middle of the night.
No, I agree. We gotta figure out, I gotta go talk to Lions Club about those trees, though. I don't wanna just do something like them mad. Oh, yeah. It's tough, getting rid of trees. But I wanna put something back. That's the other issue, because, I used to be a certified arborist. I get trees, but those trees are also not supposed to be here. So that's kind of a delicate balance, because they are on the invasive species list. So if we do something, I think we need to look at putting something back for something that would look pretty, but something also won't get as tall in those power lines. Or even I think the primaries are even got trees in them when I looked at them. You definitely don't want to touch
They're
those.
getting close.
Yeah, but those trees, those lines are coded. It's a coded line, so it's still not a good thing. It's like a service drop to your house. It's coded, even though it goes through the trees. They can't rub through it, so it's a bad thing. But those trees are soft, like Dave said, they're brittle. They shouldn't be here. But at the time they planted them, they weren't. So you can't blame anyone for doing something in the past. I forget when it got out of the invasive species list. Once they realized what it was and what they were doing, then they put them on the list. So they weren't planted illegally or wrong. At the time, they were a good thing to do. But they're not supposed to be here now.
And I think that, I know that I'll get hung for this, but I think this Central Avenue looks much cleaner without the trees up and down that. And Grand Avenue, you can actually see cars coming. There at the depot. I applaud the people taking those out. I know that everybody likes trees, and I do too, but some of these trees need to be in a park.
Yeah, those trees were in primary high lines. Those were bad.
Right. So that's my voice on that, so.
Anybody else have anything for miscellaneous business? If not, we'll move back to public forum. Come on out there, Clint. All right. Make a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Motion second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you very much.